I believe that balance is a very real aspect of marriage that must be given proper attention. Just as men have areas in their lives that they have to evaluate if they expect their marriages to thrive and survive, I believe that women have areas too. The first area that I would advise a woman to evaluate would be their commitment levels. Men are very territorial in this area just by nature, and therefore they interpret this area in a very territorial light. Don't allow yourself to get close to other men or let other men get too close to you. Now, this is not to be confused with a lack of trust or security on the part of your husband. Also, don't let every disagreement be a step closer to divorce. He needs to know that he's not in this alone and that you'll stay by his side until the very end. And that's your commitment levels. The second level that I would advise a woman to, or a wife to evaluate, would be her respect levels. Never try to manipulate your husband or situations to try and get your way or to try and have things go a certain way. Respect does not mean that you have to do everything that he wants you to do, when he wants you to do it, and how he wants you to do it. I would advise you to talk to him and discover what he perceives as respect, and then do what you can to come through on that. The third level is gonna be your trust level. This is especially true in his decision making. While you're not expected to agree with every idea he has or every decision he makes, you'll want to be mindful of how you handle his ideas and suggestions when perhaps you disagree with them. The fourth level would be your appreciation level. Always make him feel appreciated. Always make sure that he feels needed and that he feels valued. You might not have the greatest husband in the world, but there are worse husbands out there, I can assure you. Appreciate what he does well and make sure that he knows that you appreciate him. The fifth level would be your damsel levels. Keep being that damsel in distress. Men like being the hero. Create a reason for him to come and save you. He desires to rescue you and lead you to safety. So let him lead you. Don't take that away from him. Point number 6 would be your dating levels. Keep dates exciting by continuing to dress up, continuing to play hard to get but being enticing at the same time. Continue to be flirtatious at the dinner table, holding his arm or holding his hand, giggling at the little things that he does or says. Go over the top if necessary, but make sure that you're continuing to date him. The seventh level that you want to inspect would be your friendship levels. Learn what gets him going and what takes the wind out of his sails. If he's into sports, then I would encourage you to sit with him and watch a few games from time to time. Get into what he enjoys doing and find a place to connect with him on those levels. Always remember that it is a privilege to be a part of his world, just as it's a privilege for him to be a part of your world. The eighth level that you'd want to inspect is going to be your support levels. If your husband plans and has goals and dreams, consider yourself fortunate, because most husbands don't have plans. Most of them don't have goals or dreams. They don't know where they're going or what they want out of life. So when he presents these things to you, you'll want to be supportive of those dreams, offering advice when asked. Do your own research on his areas of interest so that the two of you can engage in a meaningful and satisfying conversation about the related topics at hand. The ninth level that you'll want to inspect is going to be your humility levels. Now, I know that this is hard for most women to accept, but there is a point of humiliation that I believe the wife needs to come to. As hard as it is to believe, your husband can't be wrong all of the time. When he is right, let him know it. When he's wrong, you'll let him know that. But you should equally let him know when he's right as well. And that makes him feel that there's, first of all, a balance, and it lets him know that his wife doesn't feel that he's the biggest mistake that she's ever made. And let him know when he's wrong, but just as easily let him know when he's right as well. Also, be humble enough not to try and control every situation. The 10th level would be your intercourse levels. I would encourage every wife, because every marriage, every relationship, every woman and husband is different in this area. Talk with your husband. Sit him down and see what he defines as a healthy sex life. If his expectations are something that you can fulfill, then by all means do so. But if they're unrealistic or there's something that you're uncomfortable with, then tell him what you are able and willing to do to keep him satisfied in this area and to keep him fulfilled. And the two of you just talk about it until you reach an agreement that both parties can be satisfied with. Be mindful about making too many excuses. This is an important area for him, just as there are important areas for you. Make sure that you connect with him in that way, that you don't make him feel as though he's overreacting about this area, because it's important for him. The 11th level that I would encourage a wife to check or to evaluate is going to be her privacy levels. Always keep your marriage at home. You don't need to share your marital problems or your marital moments of absolute abandonment and passion with anyone else. Those are things that are sacred to the marriage. They need to stay at home. They need to stay within the four walls of your home. It's not the latest talk, the latest gossip. Your girlfriends don't need to know about what your husband is doing well or what he's doing poorly. You just need to keep certain things at home between the two of you. The 12th level is going to be your emotional levels. Are you making everything a big deal? Be vigilant in controlling your emotions. This is not to suggest that you suppress your emotions altogether. I'm merely suggesting that you don't let them run wild. Keep a healthy balance so that when he forgets to put a new roll of tissue in the bathroom, for example, it doesn't threaten the future of your marriage. I believe that if women